Your voice is a holographic representation of all that you are. Using the cymoscope, an instrument that makes sound visible, a moment of the beautiful geometry in your voice can be captured forever to create your own unique harmonic voice mandala.
And believe me, in this world, in this time, we all need to be self-educated, because it is clear that we are not being told the truth. Now, what we're looking at here are cymatics. These are the images and the geometry that are produced from music. So here, in this instance, we've got sand on a metal plate, and then they hook up music to the plate. So they get the vibrations and they play the music through, and this is the result. We get these geometric patterns that are very, very reminiscent of a lot of other things that we see around us.
The toroidal vortex, as it's known. This is a shape created by electromagnetism. Pay close attention to that conical shape in the center. That's going to be our main point of focus here. In this image, you can see that toroidal vortex with that cone in the center and the center plane as well. Think of that green center plane as the flat plane of our Earth. That cone in the center that looks like a mountain, that is Mount Zion, the center, the navel of the Earth. And just for a visual representation, as you can see here, this is what I'm explaining. That center plane is our flat, stationary, topographical Earth. The topology of a toroidal vortex has the spiral, as you can see. This is the course, the path that the sun and the moon follow. They run their courses through the different gates, just as Enoch describes to us. Just how the sun's analemma proves, the moon has an analemma as well that does the same thing. This is how we get that infinity symbol from the sun's analemma. The sun, moon, and stars courses have everything to do with the calendar. The electromagnetism that creates that toroidal vortex shape of our realm. This connects with everything. The calendar, the season that we are in, and to the word of Yahuah himself. Yahuah's spoken word is seen through the light. The light is the visible image of the word of Yahuah. The word of Yahuah was made flesh and dwelt among us. The visible image of Yahuah himself is our Messiah.
I was thinking about the scripture the other day, from John 1:1-4. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Yahuah, and the Word was Yahuah. And so just that line in and of itself, we know that Yahusha was with Yah from the beginning. And then it says, and Yahusha was Yahuah. And, that's interesting because how could that possibly be that they are the same when they are two different representations where we have the word made manifest in a physical form, and we also have the written word, but it's also called the living word, and he's referred to as the living waters. And so back to the scripture, the same was in the beginning with Yahuah. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the scripture came to mind because we know that there is nothing in him but light. There is no darkness in him at all. He is nothing but light. And so Yah holds the preeminence over all creation. He existed before everything that was made. And in him is life and light. So when we think about that spark of life, you think about the sperm meeting the egg, and then you see this explosion of light, and that's life. And so we read in Genesis 1, verse 3, and Yahuah said, "Let there be light." So he said, he spoke that into being, into the darkness below. So Yah is in his dwelling place above the earth and always has been. And then he speaks, "Let there be light," into the darkness below. So creation begins with the spoken word of Yahuah. And so from Yah, he sends out that spoken word, but sound is the audible light. It's the other end of the spectrum. And light is visible sound.
Region of the electromagnetic spectrum, which we call visible light. By convention, the hues are grouped into 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. If you see red, that means light of the red frequency is reaching your eye. If you see blue, that means light of the blue frequency is reaching your eye. But the eye only has receptors for red, green, and blue. How then are we able to detect other colors, such as yellow and cyan? Well, that's where the brain comes in. When the red and green photoreceptors are stimulated together, the brain averages those signals to create the experience of yellow, which, interestingly enough, lies directly between red and green within the spectrum. Likewise, when the green and blue photoreceptors are stimulated together, the brain averages those signals to create the experience of cyan, which, interestingly enough, lies directly between green and blue within the spectrum. So the brain works with only these 3 color receptors to detect a rainbow of hues. What about white? It turns out white is not a color. Rather, it's what the brain deduces when all 3 photoreceptors, red, green, and blue, are stimulated to the same degree at the same time. That's right, white doesn't exist in the physical world. Rather, it's something our brains have made up. It's all in the mind of the beholder. And of course, black is what you get when there is no color frequencies reaching your eye. Black is not a color. Black is the absence of color.
The sun's analemma. If you take a picture of the sun at the same time every single day for a year, you will get the figure 8 pattern you see. That spiral pattern we talked about earlier. The spiral pattern of the toroidal vortex. This particular analemma was taken over a 3-year period, and as you'll see, the sun follows the exact same path year after year after year. This is why the sun is the leader, the male figure that leads the days, the weeks, the months, and the years. This is why the great sign of the sun, the spring equinox, is marking that yearly divider day, the beginning and the end of the years. The day is not counted because Yahuah is outside of time. So is this 0 day. This 0 day, the divider day, is what keeps the years in sync with the proper seasons and aligns exactly with the sun and what the sun is doing year after year after year until the end of time, which is Judgment Day. Now let's take a look at the moon's analemma. And we're going to see the problem here and why the moon is not the leader or a determining factor in the calendar. The moon's analemma takes 1 month to complete, whereas the sun's takes 1 year. But as you can see, from month to month, it's not going to line up exactly. This is why the moon is not a determining factor. It's a supporting witness for the sun, the female role, who supports the male role, the sun. Most people don't understand how to actually understand and know what the moon is doing, how to read it. It's not going by the photo period or the crescent sliver phases. No, it has to do with the Mazzaroth sign behind it, which Mazzaroth sign the moon is in. This is going to determine not only these lunar stations, as they're called, but also the priestly courses. Check out our calendar videos if you want to understand more about that. How time and the calendar work. This visual representation of pi is very similar to how a spirograph works. Each time a line is drawn, it fills in the blank space. This is where the head of days and ancient of days come into play, Yahuah and Yahusha. In the beginning, this is where time starts, and it continues, filling in the blanks, until we finally get to the end, where there is no more black. That is the end of time. This is when Judgment Day happens. After time has been fulfilled, this is when the new kingdom begins. And notice how at the center, the midst, that is where the dwelling place of Yahuah is, Mount Zion. The tree of life, in the midst of the garden, in the midst of the city, New Jerusalem, in the midst of Mount Zion, in the midst of the earth. So Yahuah can dwell in the midst of his people. Did you know the word for sanctuary is mikdash? This meaning, as you can see, mentions the sphere that's set apart, Kodesh, for the presence of Yahuah himself. This sphere is a toroidal vortex. Yahuah is the toroidal vortex of creation. Our earth is the toroidal vortex of the realm that we live in. Mount Zion is the toroidal vortex in the center of that. New Jerusalem is the toroidal vortex in the midst of Mount Zion. The garden is the toroidal vortex in the midst of the city. And the tree of life is the toroidal vortex in the center of everything.